Hey y'all, welcome back to Hopped Up Beer Review. Today we are drinking Breath of Nebula from Edmund's Oast out of Charleston, South Carolina. Thanks for joining us.
Hey everybody, welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, the show where we give you our unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer we are drinking and reviewing. Be sure to like, subscribe, cheers that notification bell, as well as check us out on the social medias. Links are below in the description. Hey, come say hey in Discord. We'd love to see you there on our Discord chat server where we talk about beer and life, real life. I've got Andy in the
get real.
I've got Jay. I'm Ben. What are we drinking today, gentlemen?
Go ahead, Andrew.
Breath of Nebula. It's very descriptive on how it's going to taste, right? It's by Edmund's Oast out of Charleston, South Carolina. It is a New England style IPA.
Ben's gonna love it.
Ooh.
Let's drink it.
Yes, so excited.
Well, I am curious. We have had one other Edmund's Oast. It was Cordial Offerings, the stout with chocolate nibs and raspberry. It kind of pushed the barrier of a stout.
Yeah, they do some good beer.
Fruity stout.
They're probably most famous or most well known as one called Bound by Time. It's an IPA. But this is one that I had I had come across a multi-pack I wanted to share with you guys.
Great color.
Yeah.
Man. So
Great
I am super curious because Jay described this one as rough and chunky.
Oh, it's very flocculent.
Well, to that, cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Drink it up, Ben. Yeah. Hold on, Ben. Hold on.
Yeah.
So this is 6.7%. I couldn't find an IBU descriptor on this. It doesn't say it on the can, did say it on the website. The flavors
must be zero.
The flavors are honeydew, cantaloupe, and candied navel orange. So
what does a candied navel orange taste like?
The Breath of Nebula.
That's interesting.
The hops they use are Azaka, El Dorado, and bless my writing, something melon. Harrell, something starts with an H, ends with an ELL, and there's a letter, maybe two in between. So
unprofessional and somewhat biased.
I think that was one of those nights when I was researching and nodding off. And yeah. Bless me.
All right.
Found out some more information.
Okay.
Don't stop me. So, as I said, we reviewed Cordial Offering from Edmund's Oast. Maybe the link will be in below, maybe not. Decides on what Ben decides to do. It was founded in 2008. It was out of Charleston, South Carolina. They started as like a beer store, and then they moved to breweries. Two guys, started beer stores. I didn't look up. I couldn't find what Edmund had to do with the brewery, but I found out what Oast meant. I didn't look what Oast. So OAST is a building designed for kilning hops. So it is beer related. Pretty cool. I didn't know what it meant. So we're learning.
Yeah, wouldn't have had any clue.
So Jay, you mentioned some chunks.
Yes, I just poured the last of my can out, and if you watch as you pour the very end, there's some some
Ooh, yeah.
flocculence that comes in there. Yeah.
Mm.
Yep, they're in there for sure.
You
Yeah.
know, this, I wonder what the
SRM.
SRM would be on something like this one.
Ooh, wow. It stained the foam. You
Told you.
can see that. Wow.
Yeah, I think that's an
Give me
interesting
all you
question
got.
about the SRM, because the SRM has to do with the light that can pass through
Yeah, that's what I was looking. I mean,
the
there's
beer, right? I mean, to some degree, it's part of it.
So y'all discussing cloudiness too.
Yeah.
It's not
Yes, I
just
mean
the light
uh,
appearance.
there's nothing getting. I put my fingers behind it. I see nothing.
Seeing that I got rid of my overhead light in the attic, I can't really determine that. So
Yeah, I mean, I've got a light behind it. I can't see my fingers at all. It's quite thick. All right, so Jay, I think you have had this one, right?
I have had this one. It's one
Andy?
that I grabbed to share with you guys.
I grabbed it.
Mm-mm. You grabbed Cordial Offering.
Did I
No,
grab Cordial Offering? You
I
grabbed
grabbed Cordial Offering.
I grabbed Breath of Nebula when I was in Chattanooga.
Unless it's in the stack that I have by the fridge. This is one that I had shared previously because Chattanooga beer just made it into my inventory.
Because
We
I
do have
pulled.
the time when you mentioned earlier.
Bound by Time.
Wait, we have a third Edmund's Oast?
We do.
That's the one
Jay?
you picked up. This is the
Okay.
one that I shared.
Wow, I stand corrected then, or I say corrected. I was just searching through the beer last night. I gotta look. Where's that beer?
I know that I brought the Cordial Offering because I have the extra one of the 4-pack.
And I've got to look to find that other Edmund's Oast.
Hold on. Why don't you go ahead and rate this?
Yeah. Wow, I'm blown. So
all you.
I was leaning into this after your description of rough and chunky, but come out. I like it. I just find some New England juicy, hazy IPAs that look like this just so much fun. I am more of that hazy, juicy New England IPA kind of guy, and I like this one. It is really good. It's not. I'm glad they don't describe it as having too much grapefruit to it, so I don't get that peel aftertaste, the bitterness to it. It's got a little bit of bitterness, but it's not too bad. It's easy to handle. I give it 8.0. So it's a good one.
Yeah, since Jay's had it, I'll go next. This one to me is just okay. It's not overly bitter. I do, after you kind of ran through the taste you should pick up. I mean, I wouldn't say I'd get a candied navel orange, but I do get a little bit of an orange peel on the back end. After you mentioned that, I definitely felt like I could pull that out. I don't think it's sweet at all, as I would think the candied would allude to, but it's okay. I don't know. I feel like it has a little bit of bitterness to it. It's somewhere in between, like I'm not going to describe this right, but I really don't like things that are bitter and overly bitter. And this is not overly bitter, but it's bitter enough that I'm like, they should either be overly bitter or not bitter at all. I think it's like right in the middle.
Kind
Go
of that
big
in
or go home
between.
beer.
It's like, I guess, yeah,
just
because
go
it
home. You didn't
almost
go big.
because it's almost like a watered down bitter to me is the best way that I can describe it. Which I'm not always the best at describing things, but that's what I pull out of it, and I get a little bit of like I said, that navel orange peel on the back end. So it's okay. It's for me, it's not one that that I would buy personally. Again, having had it, this is for me is one. Hey, I've checked it off the list. I've had it. I can move on and know that I'm good. So that being said, I mean I'll give it a 6. I can see where it has merit, especially if you like a bitter beer. But again, because I feel like it should either, just because I feel like that bitter is just watered, it should either be there or not, in my opinion, just based on what the flavors that I'm getting.
So if it was like obnoxiously bitter, would it have
It would have been a 4.
gotten? Oh, okay. I was about to say, but you were like,
no, I'm just saying,
since you're a week on the bitter scale,
Yeah,
No,
we all know that Ben on the bitter scale, his values go down. But if you put like some citrus in there or something to counterbalance the
maybe
the
some more dry hopping.
bitterness, that's where he tends to like his IPAs, is the way that I see those. Hoppy and bitter is not Ben. So
yeah, and I think that's a great way to put it, Jay, in the fact that for me the blend is not there. The blend,
they tried with it, but it's got a little bit too much of the chunk, and it doesn't have that orange that comes in, or the citrus. It's in the middle, in between a bitter and a citrus.
Yeah, the counter to the bitter for me is almost like water in this situation. Just the way, I mean, there's a little bit of flavor there, but it's just watered down. And I
like
think
our Natty Lights that we did on our Macro Monday.
I mean, if you poured a little bit of Natty Light in with this, then yeah, maybe that's what you get out. I don't know. That's the best way I can try it.
That's an interesting philosophy. I wonder if you would put like a quarter of a cup of orange juice in this, how that would be. I mean, that would probably cut the bitter.
So Ben wants a Fresca.
It'd be like a beer mosa.
Hey, we might be onto something there.
Well, there are several breweries around I know that do that already. So, Main Channel out of Gunnersville is known for that, and Back 40 out of Gadsden, Alabama, they actually have a beer mosa that's one that they can.
Well, if we're getting into beer mosas, we're talking about like Parrish's greetings from,
Exactly.
like landmass.
Yep. Well, all right. So on to me. Yeah, the first time I had this, the first couple of sips, I was like, "Ooh, yeah." But it grew on me, and then you pour that last little bit into your glass, and like I said, you've got some chunks and some flocculence and haze and all kinds of goodness going on in there. Yeah, it's I see your struggles, Ben, and I can understand the in between bitter and citrus, and it's kind of that middle ground. Sometimes it kind of gives you that tickle in your throat in some ways. But to me, it's a good beer. I got to give it an 8. I really have been impressed with Edmund Oast and their offerings. Had several of theirs on draft, and cordial offering that we had previously was a good one. I do look for their stuff when there's new stuff out. I'll try it for sure. So I'd love to see what they could do with the sour, and I think that would probably be something, Ben, that you would enjoy. They actually have a few sours, and maybe we should try and get one of those on the show in the future.
Yeah, I mean, between the two that we've had, this one and the cordial offering, I mean, I definitely can see where they're trying to do something a little different, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're not trying to just pump out the standard. So definitely can applaud that. I think that the two that we've had have not been two that they've not been my favorites.
Right.
I mean, I've grabbed the cordial offering, thinking that from the description on the can that it sounded like something good, and it just wasn't for me. I think both of you enjoyed it, which is great. and this one as well, you know, it's kind of the same story. So, but definitely looking for, I definitely can appreciate that they're trying to do something a little bit different. And, you know, it's always would be interested to try other beers of theirs, just to see where it comes out.
Well, I definitely give them bonus points for their can art.
I was going to say the
On
same.
the
Yeah.
back, I mean, yeah, we described the other one, the cordial offering is macabre, but it's a skull with a hop blended into the head with
That's cool.
wings on. I don't know what that is. It's not it. But then you got this Nebula. I don't know what she's sitting on. It looks like planet, but
The world, yeah.
it's just pretty cool. Good job, Edmund Oast. Keep them up.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you're at the beer store, and we've all been there, where you're looking at the, you know, sometimes a vast array of options, you know, I tend to look for something that's different, which I think all of us are drawn to, obviously different. So, you know, the can art is probably the best marketing tool that any beer company can have, because it's going to draw your eye to it, and ultimately potentially make you purchase it. And with the cordial offering, at least that was the case when I saw the can. And, you know, I think that these, unlike some other cans that we have, you know, I mean, this is almost art on it, in a sense.
It is,
you know.
yeah.
So that's just and just kind of old world art, if you will. You know, that's kind of neat. So
Yeah, and we definitely need to try some of their others. I mean, they have a sour that's a blackberry raspberry, and then they have another one called Order of Magnitude, or a sour cherry pineapple. You know, I'd love to try those, especially as we get more towards summertime.
Sounds great.
Yeah,
yeah,
those would be nice and refreshing. So
we have another one to review if Andy can find it. So. All right, that is going to be a 7.3 for the Breath of Nebula out of Edmund's Oast Brewing Company, a New England style IPA that is chunky and, what was the other word?
Rough and chunky.
Rough and chunky, according to Jay's initial description. So yeah, hey, let us know what you think. If you've had it, we'd love to hear your feedback. You've heard ours here, and hey, if you don't agree, let us know. If you do agree, let us know. You can do that by the comments below, or you can jump on the social medias and check us out there. And always, an invitation is open to join our Discord server and chat us up and let us know what you think about the Breath of Nebula. For Andy in the attic and Ben, I am Jay. No, wait, how did that work out? For Andy in the attic and Jay, yeah, I'm Ben.
Cheers, mates.
These are all aliases, by the way. Cheers, mates.
That's funny.